The stage has been set. PSG are back-to-back Champions League finalists, and their opponent on the other side of the bracket is none other than Arsenal, Arteta's men. And let's get into this game. The way PSG can beat a team is none other. This is probably one of the best teams I've seen within the last 10 years. How would you rank them in the Champions League as a whole of winners? And just the technical brilliance that we've seen today, they can beat you in many ways, whether it's through transition, whether it's through tiki taka, whether through its set pieces, or just individual brilliance. And today, PSG beat Bayern in a way we haven't seen this season. PSG beat Bayern on sheer defensive brilliance. They gave these men zero chance, zero sniff whatsoever. And if it wasn't for Kane's goal at the 94th minute, this would have been Bayern's first game in 51 games going scoreless. But this PSG team, they have stars throughout the whole team, game changers throughout the whole team. And none other than that, the way Luis Enrique built this side, every single player's technical ability is through the roof, coupled with the athleticism of each player. So within any situation you find these guys, they will find a way. They just think so hard. And a few key performers today. Pacho, my days, he put in a shift. Locking down Kane, locking down Olise, helping out Zaire Emery, Marquinhos when he needed to, popping up in the midfield, getting those challenges in. He was a rock in defense today and probably one of the top three best players on that field today. And even other players such as, Desiree Doué. Ooh, he was heating up. He was heating up in the second half. And he got taken off by Luis Enrique. I'm just like, why? He was just as the, getting a few dribbles there, getting more shots off once Dembele came off. He was that linchpin in the center forward position, going left, going right, just as Dembele would. And it just seemed like, one person out, another person in, no change whatsoever in the offense. They only grew and got so much better. And the only thing that could have topped this off for Nazir Doué was probably just getting a goal. And it was a brilliant performance from him today. And you see him coming off early. I didn't want it. I was like, no, come on, man. But another is Kavicha Kvaratskhelia. What? Prima donna. He is Maradona. This guy, the way he sizes up as a defender, I don't think I've ever seen someone run at their man at full speed the way he does while still having total control of the ball. He can go left, right, anywhere he pleases, and you're just gonna sit there and take it. And the assist he had today, sizing up his man, going into the box, and this is smartly done from Dembele and him. He sees Dembele at the back post. You think he's just gonna hit it first time, but no. Dembele, how composed he's been, he just pauses, drags, comes inside the center circle, blindsided his defender, and Kvara waits and calmly just lays it across for him to just roof it through the net. And from there, Manuel Neuer had no chance whatsoever ever stopping that ball. And this was a defensive masterclass by PSG. João Neves, Vitinha, every man behind the ball, and even at points of the whole game, Bayern having 70% of the ball. PSG were fine. They were comfy in Bayern's own ends. We can defend. You just won't score against us, and that's exactly what we did up until Harry Kane's goal at the end. And Zaire Emery having to fill in for the injured Hakimi, which we know he's been brilliant for PSG. Hakimi will pop in positions of center mid, right wing, left wing, just everywhere across the field. And coming into this game, we know Hakimi's injured with a hamstring, and Zaire Emery was the natural slot to fit in there because PSG don't have a recognized right back. And that's probably where they need to do some recruitment in the summer to have an actual right back there instead of having center mids play that position, because we've seen, Zaire Emery right now, Mayulu over the weekend. So they're just putting bits and pieces there. But that's what happens when you have players of such technical quality, such athleticism, and just problem solvers all around the pitch. They can play in any position. And they're not really dedicated to just one place. They can play any position. And I felt like Marquinhos and Zaire Emery, they did so well against Diaz today. Diaz didn't really have anything in this game whatsoever. And, it was just dribbles into the box, fake shots here, fake shots there, and just not much that the whole Bayern team can do in general. And Olise, this was probably one of his not so good performance whatsoever. I felt like in the first half, yes, he was getting on the ball, but it wasn't really amounting to anything. And Nuno Mendes had a way better game than him today, keeping him locked up, and Olise having many dribbles on the ball and just not getting away with things. And Bar Kane's goal today, I felt like that brother was non-existent. And the big talking point in the media was that, oh, Benzema only did it for one season. Benzema, he didn't. Kane's a better player, but what's the difference? Benzema did it on the big stages. Benzema scored hat tricks on these teams. Benzema carried that Madrid team through Chelsea, through Manchester City, through Bayern, and through many other teams. Benzema was there, but where was Kane today? Too busy dropping in the midfield trying to play lob city balls, but he should have. Yeah, it was just a really poor, quiet game from him. And another player that we need to talk about is Musiala. Oh, I don't want to be harsh, but whether it's the injuries or not, this brother has been just non-existent for him in the team. And there was one point in the season where Leonard Cole, really stepped up to the plate while Musiala was gone. And you're thinking to yourself, does Musiala have a position to fight for? Leonard Cole, him. And at one point, it was Leonard Cole running that race. But now that Leonard Cole injured himself and is Musiala back, he hasn't been the player that we once knew. Yes, he's still getting past, dribbling swimmingly past anyone, but just the end product that was needed at the critical moment was not there. But once PSG went ahead and got that first goal, I never thought Bayern was going to be able to score 3 goals on the night and stop PSG from scoring more. It just left it all way too much to do for them. And yeah, where does this Bayern side go? Because I think the main thing that separated both of these teams, along with the technical quality of every player in the athleticism, was that PSG had more problem solvers on the field and just better players in certain positions. They definitely had way more better players and technical quality. Because for a star-studded Bayern team to still have Stanisic as your starting left back, Leimer as your right back, and just you could see with the substitutions who they were bringing on. They brought on 2 defenders. Rather, PSG, they made a host of substitutions. They brought midfielders, but they still brought on attackers. They brought on Mayulu. We know we can play in the center mid, front forward. They brought on Barcola. If you have options to bring the likes of Barcola onto the field, you know you're doing something right. And even others, Kang and Lee, the youngster Mbaye, they had many options for attacking, but all Bayern really had to bring was, Kim Min-jae, Davies, and Leonard Cole happened way much later. Nicholas Jackson as your substitute and as a Bayern team is even crazier than that. But out of all those substitutions that they made, the brightest one was, Alphonso Davies, giving them a burst of injection down the left-hand side, because we know he can beat his men with pace. He has the technical ability to go past, the best of fullbacks. And there was a few times he did get in certain areas to make plays happen. And there was probably one shot that was brilliantly stopped by, I want to say it was Pacho or Marquinhos, by Leonard Cole, that could have ended up, tying the tie, not the tie of the night, getting them another goal on the night. But it was just all too much to do for them. And I don't see Arsenal stopping this PSG team. I really don't, because what PSG just showed us today was they can defend just as good as anybody and just as good as Arsenal can, because the way they dug deep, 11 men behind the ball, we are going to make a fortress at the Munich Stadium. And I don't think Arsenal is ready for what Kvara is about to come with, what Dembele is about to come with, what Desiree Doué is about to come with. Ben White, hey, you better start watching football. You better start watching tapes, because otherwise, Kvara coming up against you is about to be next levels, and it's about to be peak. But all in all, guys, where do you think, if PSG end up winning the Champions League back to back since Real Madrid doing it, where do you think this team ranks in probably the last 10 years of Champions League semifinals winners? Where do you think, are they better than MSN? Are they better than BBC? Are they better than that Bayern team that won it during COVID year? Where do they rank for you guys? But yeah, all in all, if you like what you see, please leave a like, share, and subscribe. It has been Mohammed Bin Sports, MBS. And until next time, take care, everyone.